Because they had a feeling that if you hadn't seen it before or if you weren't used to the second theater, that it might be difficult to understand. The kids have worked extremely hard for this, and so I am going to...
And a fine chest of drawers. And an instant exposure that's the greatest if you like the morning sun.
I like the morning sun.
Some like the morning sun, some don't.
I've always liked the morning.
Your wash basin's right over here, and the bathroom boiler down the hall.
I need peace and quiet.
I've only 2 other roomers on this floor, both of them old ladies, so you won't be disturbed.
Good.
Every man likes his privacy.
Yes.
One of the ladies is quite old. Her grandchildren come to visit her on consultation. The other lady has a very nice job, she tells me, in an office. You won't see her very much. One of the ladies has to get up several times during the night to use the restroom. We flatter. But she's very quiet about it, though.
Is there a lock on my closet door?
I don't know.
No, there is no lock.
Well, there's no need to lock your things here.
I have some things I'd like to keep quite safe.
But nobody goes snooping around here.
These are things that I have to be sure of.
Oh, very well.
Every man has something very precious to him.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never been one much to bother with locks.
I would very much like a good lock on my closet door.
I'm afraid you'll have to provide that for yourself.
Why should I?
If I provided you with a lock, then I'd be expected to provide a lock for all the other tenants, whether they wanted one or not. That's just how people are. And I can't be buying locks for everybody.
Can't you make an exception? In my case, inasmuch I need a lock very much.
No exception. Sorry. I found that's the only way to do business.
Very well.
The telephone's in the hall.
I never get any calls.
And there's a television in the parlor. You're welcome to use the parlor as you would in your own home. Do you have a radio?
No.
If you did, I'd have to ask you not to play it after 10 o'clock at night.
I don't see why I'd want to.
Both ladies like to retire early.
I've never been one to create disturbances.
Shall I look at the forms?
Forms.
Yes, I must have the usual information before you move in.
I have not yet said I'd take the room.
But you wouldn't think of not taking the room now, would you?
I might.
After putting me to this trouble, showing you the room as I've done, that takes time.
I know.
And time is money.
True.
And you're the kind of man who wouldn't want to put a woman through extra trouble. You'd feel you'd hurt my feelings if you did take the room. Wouldn't you?
No. Why should it?
It's not a question of should it or shouldn't it, but it would.
I certainly don't have to take this room if I don't choose to.
No. But what will I think of you if you don't? That'll bother you, won't it?
No. Why should it?
Like I said, it's not a matter of should it or shouldn't it, but it would.
Maybe you're right. What is the rent?
$100 a day.
What?
Rent is high.
I wouldn't hear of it. $100 a day is absolutely outrageous.
Oh, it's not that bad, really.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, we get used to the prices we pay and take them for granted.
But I will not pay such an outrageous sum.
I'm sorry, I can't let the room go for any less.
It will destroy me to pay such a sum.
Oh, I don't think so.
Prices get higher all the time. Prices get higher, higher and higher, higher for everything.
True.
And I'm not a wealthy man. Actually, I have very little.
You'll manage somehow. I know you're tight. You'll manage.
I'd expected to pay much less.
We always pay more than we expect, don't we?
Do we?
Well, you said you wanted solitude,
Yes,
and that don't come cheap.
I know.
So shall I look at the forms?
I guess so.
I know you couldn't be happier anywhere else.
I guess you're
I
right.
think you've made a very wise choice.
Just a minute. I demand you supply me with a lock for my closet door.
But I've already explained to you that's out of the question.
If I'm to pay such an enormous rent, I'm entitled to a lock.
But don't you see, love is something we must provide for ourselves.
Oh?
Yes, those types of things we provide for ourselves.
Maybe you're right.
I might even be doing you a disservice to provide a lock for you.
But I must have a lock. I must.
Very well, I'll send a houseman up, but you'll have to make your arrangements with him.
Send it.
But first, you have to fill out the form. Are you decent, sir?
You may come in.
Who filled your keepsake?
Yes, I have a key here, but I've never been able to find the lock that it opens.
It may be a piece of luggage you've lost or disposed of.
Maybe, but I can never let myself to throw it away. Someday I might find the locker door it was made for.
And you've some letters with
Of course. And a railroad ticket for a journey I never got to take.
I have forms with you now.
Oh, I dislike forms.
Oh, we'll make this as easy as possible.
Is it really necessary?
Oh, yes, everyone must fill out the forms for granted files.
File? know that I'm a Christian.
What is your legal name?
John Miller Mull.
M-U-L-L?
Yes,
Unusual name.
it is.
I don't think I've ever encountered it before.
Well, I come from a small family, but it's an old name. As old as the Puritan Fathers. That's what my grandfather used to tell me.
That doesn't matter, does it?
I guess not.
And what is your occupation?
That's difficult to say. I think a great deal.
Is that what you want me to classify you as a thinker?
Well, I guess that's the only way you can put it.
Can you tell me about some of the thinking that you've done?
I wish I could. I do such very important thinking. All about the most vital things that a man feels and experiences in everyday living.
What
But
are these things?
It would take an eternity.
I have an hour and a half before lunch.
I couldn't even begin.
Maybe you could write them down.
I wish I could write them down, but then I guess I'd be a writer than not a thinker. I do write a little, the unimportant things. But the truly important things, I could never let myself to write at all. So I think I'd be belittling myself to call myself a writer.
I just put down what you tell me.
And I told you.
Now, I would like you to tell me the happiest day or moment in your life. Don't rush.
It takes time.
Yes.
It was a day, many years ago. I could never grow anything.
Pity.
I worked in my garden, day and night, planting all these things, you know? But nothing ever grew. It was despairing. It made me seem so ineffectual.
A very dismal feeling.
And then, one day, one of the plants appeared nosing its way out of the ground, like a little animal. Oh, I was so proud. I watered it and nurtured it and kept the weeds away and provided plenty of fertilizer to keep the soil rich around it.
And then?
It grew a little more until it even brought forth a few blossoms. Oh, they were lovely.
How nice.
But the blossoms never bore fruit.
Pity.
And then I gave up. I didn't grow anything anymore. There didn't seem to be any use. I didn't have the green thumb. Others could just throw a seed to the ground. Beautiful things grow up and blossom and bear luscious fruit. But that never happened for me.
Some have the knack and some don't.
But I do know the wonderful feeling that it gives you. You see something you planted come to life. Oh, what a wonderful feeling.
I'm sure it is.
I just wish I could have grown something really splendid.
Maybe you will someday.
I don't think so.
Don't be disheartened.
Maybe, but it's too late.
What was the most unhappy day?
The most
Yes.
unhappy? Well, there have been many.
One must separate them.
I've tried to keep the unhappy days out of my memory.
That's usual.
It must have been a day, early summer, after my graduation. I was going to visit one of my professors, a very sage old man. He was going to advise me.
About what?
Just advise me.
I see.
He had given me directions on how to get there. I had to turn off this gravel road to get to his house. But I made a wrong turn somewhere. I spent the entire night alone, frightened, and it was cold. I had nothing to cover me. I kept hearing the howls and cries of animals all around me. It was despairing. I finally found my way to the main highway, but it was a special road I should have taken. A special road I could never find.
A special road you could never find.
I dislike maps. Seems to be so many ways of reading them.
One must find a way that's right for himself.
It's very confusing.
Very confusing.
Sometimes one road just looks as good as another.
Maybe it is.
I don't know. It does. Sometimes it just looks as good as another road.
Very confusing.
Yes.
All this must go down to my record.
It must.
Yes.
That's strange.
But we've no more time for that now. Now this is a very painful question.
It is.
Yes. What is your crime?
My crime?
Yes, I must know.
Strange you should ask me.
No, we ask everyone.
And does everybody have a crime?
Of course.
And all that goes down in your records?
Yes, but they're never seen.
You destroy them after the tenant leaves?
No, they become engraved, but no one ever sees them.
My crime?
Yes, think hard.
It's something so vague in my mind.
That's usual.
And yet, it troubles me night and day.
Of course.
I suppose I must have committed a crime sometime in my life, but I can't remember what it was.
Maybe it happened too long ago.
I don't know, but I was always well behaved as a child.
Well behaved.
I always minded my parents and never did harm to anyone.
Never did harm.
No, never.
It's very hard for us to remember our crimes.
If anything, I was too well behaved as a child. I obeyed my elders implicitly.
Implicitly.
I was always a well behaved lad.
Well behaved.
But for some reason, I grieve.
Pity.
I grieve about something I can't remember.
That's too bad. Maybe it happened too long ago.
I suffer for a deed I can't remember.
Are you sure you committed the
I
crime?
must have. I suffer for it.
Sometimes we suffer for the deeds of others.
I don't know. The past is just all so diffused.
I'm sorry I can't help you. I just take it down for the record.
I don't know. I'd rather not talk about it anymore.
You need.
Is that all for now? I'm very tired and need my rest.
There's just one more question.
Please. My nerves are on edge. I can't sit here forever answering your routine questions. I need my rest.
But I must have it down for my file.
Very well. I see.
To whom should I call in the event of a serious illness or death?
Illness or death?
Yes, you wouldn't want to be lying here dying without some friend or kin knowing.
I don't know what good they could do.
But I must have it down.
You must.
Yes. Is there anyone I can call?
I have a sister,
Her name.
Mrs. Jennifer Hawley.
And her address.
23806 and a half West Overland Street in Summit Heights.
Summit Heights, I know where that place is. A very lovely place. Do you have a telephone number?
No,
It's all right. I can get some information if I need to.
I tried to call it once, but the wires were down.
It's all right. I'll manage to find her if I need to. And see, that wasn't so bad after all, now was it?
I'm relieved it's over.
Of course.
I hate to be questioned.
Try to get your rest.
Oh, you'll send the man with his lock?
Yes, as soon as he returns from his vacation.
You mean he's not here?
I don't think so.
Well, when will he return?
Probably as soon as he feels his vacation is over.
When will that be?
I don't know. When people go off on vacations, one never knows when they're going to return.
But I must have a lock. I must.
I've already told you, no one goes snooping around here.
I have some things. I want to keep safe.
Everything will be taken care of.
But I must protect them.
Just try to get your rest.
I won't rest until I have a lock.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid you'll just have to put up with circumstances.
It seems little enough to procure a man to put something like a simple lock on my door.
Try to get your rest. Nighttime is coming soon. You're going to want to unpack your things so you can get ready for bed and awaken early in the morning to do your thinking.
Yes, I cannot neglect my thinking. Who are you?
Someone here want a lock?
Oh, yes. I didn't expect you so soon.
Oh, I just got back from my vacation several days ago. I was just sitting in the basement minding my own business.
The landlady said she didn't know when you'd be back.
Oh, don't think you have to believe everything she says.
She's the landlady. She should know what's going on in her own establishment.
She knows a good deal, but she don't know everything.
She gives that impression.
Everyone tries to give that impression.
And you were here the whole time.
Of course, just sitting down there minding my own business.
Why didn't you tell anybody you were back?
I figured they'd find out when they needed me.
Anyway, I'm relieved you've come.
Yes, now, just what is it, sir?
I need a secure lock for my closet door.
Is that all?
A simple request, don't you think?
I suppose so.
It is a simple request, but the landlady acted as if I were asking for something unheard of.
Well, you know how women are when they get to be her age. Now let's see about that lock.
A very secure one.
Yes, I know. That's what everyone asks.
Isn't it a reasonable request?
Sure, of course it's reasonable, but is it worthwhile?
Well, I don't know how you can ask such a question.
Well, let's look at it this way. After all is said and done, how much good is a lock anyway?
Well, I don't know how you can ask such a thing.
The point is, how are you going to answer it?
I need a lock to protect my most precious possession.
Are they really so precious?
Of course,
Or do you just tell yourself that to make you feel you got something valuable?
my possessions are jewels.
Jewels, huh?
Yes, jewels.
Are you sure you want to hide them?
I must.
Or do you just want to protect them?
What's the difference?
Well, everyone has things he wants to hide, also things he wants to protect. It's important to know the difference.
I need a lock. I didn't ask you up here for some philosophic discussion. I'll take you now to remove your feet and to get your butt up and put a lock on my closet door.
Very well. I'll put on a lock for you, but it won't do any good. If someone really wanted to get through that closet door, there's not a lock in all the world that will keep them out. Locks are useless things.
Nevertheless, I'll feel much safer if I have one.
Oh, now that's different. If it'll make you feel safer, then by all means you should have one.
Then get busy. As soon as you're through, I need to get to bed. I've had a very exhausting day.
I'll have you fixed up in a jiffy.
Thank you. I'll just resume my unpacking. Suddenly it's night.
Yes, it is.
But just a few minutes ago it was midday, I swear.
Well, very often night comes during the day. Haven't you ever noticed?
I don't think so.
If it's night now, you can be sure that there's some reason behind it.
Maybe it's an eclipse.
Maybe.
I fear we're going to have a bad storm.
They're common this time of year.
When I was a child, I was always afraid of storms.
That's so?
Yes, bad electric storms. I was always afraid they'd blow down the house.
Oh, don't worry. This house is old, but it's built strong. Old houses are always the best. These new houses people are putting up are just cardboard.
Storms sometimes fascinate me now.
Oh, a storm's good. It clears the atmosphere. Just like when someone feels bad about something and cries. Feels better after he's cried. That's why I always say to myself when it's raining hard, the skies are crying.
You're very poetic, aren't you?
Much so as life permits me to be.
I'll be glad when it's over.
Rain or shine, it's all the same to me.
I seem to recall a poem. Something to the effect of loving too much the beauty of storms.
No, a person shouldn't dwell on them.
But the lightning is awful, isn't it?
I always say it cracks open the sky and gives us a look into heaven that blinds us.
I can't look. I can't look.
Maybe it was meant that way.
I don't know. Sometimes I just get tired of the sight of this world.
Do you travel much, sir?
Constantly. In every place I go to, it's always the same.
It's quite a storm, isn't it?
Yes.
Sure hope the basement doesn't leak. We've been having some problems. $500, including labor.
Such a price is fantastic.
I suppose it is, a little.
How can you ask for such an exorbitant sum for something as simple as a lock?
Well, we pay heavy for it. Go around buying second-hand locks.
Why not?
Because lock that works for you may not work for the next fellow.
That's absurd.
But everything is absurd.
I don't believe it.
When we consider the things that we think are absurd are just as true as the things that we don't think are absurd, then you have to consider that either everything is absurd or nothing.
God have mercy. Somebody robbed you of your precious life. Never let you grow. Oh God, why do we kill all that is most precious in us? Why do we snuff out our lives? Never let them grow.
Hush now, the deed is done.
I will grieve forever.
But it wasn't your fault.
But I feel as if it were something I could have prevented.
But that's only speculation.
That bright, gleaming sword he carried. A sword. He meant to defend some righteous cause.
Where will you go?
Another house, another rented room.
But won't you?
I won't pay you.
Do you think you can, sir? Truthfully?
Of course. But then how would you feel after?
You'll always have to take tips.